Yeah, it's important. I think lifting is important and having a strength base. We hear a lot of runners talk about having an aerobic base, and I think there's a lot of confusion in running when people are first getting into it. They're confused about what pace to go at. They may hear of people say MAF, and then there's also the methadone method, and they're unrelated, even though they're the same thing in some sense. There's your maximum aerobic function, which is something that was discovered, I believe, also by Dr. Mathitone, who wrote books on training in the 80% range. But they're not exactly the same thing. And I think people get confused at what percentage to run. And then they see people posting their times, and they see someone like yourself with proficiency in running long distances in these 6-minute mile paces. And people are probably like, well, shit, he's pretty advanced. I feel pretty fit. I should probably be able to run like 8-minute miles. And they go out there and they try it, and they're like, whoa, wow, that was embarrassing. That was really, really difficult. And so where does your training, like you were mentioning doing these like 7-minute miles, and you were doing them kind of almost daily. What did your coach help you do? And where do you kind of sit now with a lot of your training?
Yeah. I think from the coach perspective, it was more just giving me like a blueprint, right? I think for a lot of times when you're in health and wellness, it's like, even like what we did in the gym today, it was a lot more free flow, right? Like there was not like a plan. There was not like certain weights that we had to hit. And that's actually what my strength training looks more like now, where I understand which muscles I want to hit that are going to help me as a runner. So that's kind of how I treat it.
I call it an intent, having an intent of the day.
Exactly. And for running, I never really had that because I didn't know what the foundation was. So when I first got a coach, I actually worked with Nick Bear's coach, Jeff Cunningham, when I hit my first sub-3. And it showed me, like, I just looked at the week and at a month outlook of just like, oh shoot, most of these runs, he wants me to just go at an easy pace. There's no time. It's just go get miles. Time on your feet. And I started realizing, I'm like, all right, well, then there's no pressure for me to run fast. Just take this easy, let my body really create blood flow, let it recover itself, even on these quote unquote longer runs.
Did he advise you to not go too fast, or he didn't say anything?
No, he did. Because I told, when I first told him, because I first started working with Jeff after I ran the Austin Marathon last year. I was looking to get a sub-3. I hit a 3:05 on my own. And I told him, and he's like, Matt, if you hit 3:05 on Austin, which is a hilly course, he said, you're going to break sub-3. You're right there. He said, we just got to break down your training and look at it at a bird's eye view and see what's happening. And then he was just like, all right, well, looking at your easy days, take those with no pressure. Don't even look at your watch. Just go run and go off of feeling. And if you're breathing really hard, then you're probably going too fast. And it's just that mixture of understanding yourself and your body. Obviously, if someone watches my stuff, they're gonna be like, oh, like I wanna go do 8 miles. Well, that would probably be pretty stupid to do. So break it down smaller and just kind of feel it, right? If you go on 2 miles and it seems super easy and you're breathing well and you have a conversation with whoever you're running with, that's a good sign that pace, that area is a good, easy pace for you. Conversational, right? So that's kind of the first thing for me when it was like, oh shoot, that whole messaging of like my own thought of like, I have to run fast to get faster.
Why do you think that makes people better? Like running at that speed, like the speed that we ran today, do you normally run around that speed, or do you run slightly faster than
Probably
that?
A little fast, like 8:45 to 9.
Okay.
But I think the science behind it is like, obviously as you build up your aerobic capacity, it's like building out an engine, right? Even though an engine can go up to 100 miles an hour, it can't sustain that speed forever. And the same thing is with your body. Like you can't hold that maximum velocity for 26 miles, but you could probably hold 70% of that velocity, 60% maybe. So until you build your engine strong enough to sustain that much volume, it's always gonna feel like, if you feel like that at 10 miles in a marathon, shit, you got a long way to go still, right? So it's building that out. And I think the biggest thing I learned from running is just being patient, right? There's nothing sexy about this. There's nothing sexy I'll say today that's like, oh my God, I got this running secret. No, it's you got to put one foot in front of the other, take care of your body as best as you can, and stay patient along this process. Because I ran 4 marathons before I ever ran a sub-3. Trial and error all the time of figuring out what system is working, how do I get this, how do I get my nutrition down, how do I sustain these speeds? But you have to be okay with like overcoming some failure along that way, because if not, you're always gonna be in your head of like, oh, I wanna run a half, I wanna run a full, but I don't know if I'm there yet, I don't know. And you're always gonna be in your own mind. So I think a part of me was like having the blueprint, but also having the mindset of like being okay with failing, being okay with not getting the job done, because I know that as long as I'm alive, I'm going to have a fighting chance at some point. It might not be today, but in a year, who knows? So that's always been my framework once I got out of football. And I want to just continue to have that as I go on in life.
Power Project family, your normal shoes are making you weak. This is why you partner with Vivo Barefoot Shoes, because they have a wide toe box, they're flat, and they're flexible. So with every single step you're taking, if you're taking a 10-minute walk outside or when you're working out in the gym, your feet are able to do what they're supposed to do in this shoe. They have tons of options for hiking, running, training in the gym, chilling and relaxing, casual shoes for if you're out on a date. You need to check them out. And Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, that's over at vivobarefoot.com/powerproject, and you guys will receive 15% off your order automatically. Again, vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
I like what you're saying. I think it sounds to me like so much of it is about what you can recover from. So we talked also about the mindset and how important it is to just go for it sometimes. So it's going to be important for you to occasionally let her rip and go for 6-minute miles. But the duration of that run is going to be shorter. Like that might be something where you do 3 miles and you just kind of like literally see how fast you can go, and you go with some of your buddies that are real fast and you just let loose. Or you do a day where you're doing some interval sprints or something like that, and you're going much faster. But there's a regard to when the intensity is high, the frequency will be lower, or if the intensity is high, the duration will be lower. If the duration is super long, the intensity will be low, and vice versa. And you have to kind of have some sort of map of any combination of those things. There's some people that will say, you can get extremely fit and build out your maximum aerobic function by being a sprinter as well. And they're actually right. Like there's not anything that somebody like Usain Bolt can't do. Like there's no reason why he wouldn't be able to run a marathon, probably quite easily. Now, if he wants to become more proficient at a marathon, he'll have to play that game a little bit more. But you can get there with high intensity work, but you would have to back down the amount of times that you do it so that you can still recover from those workouts.
I because I'm from football, I have that thought process where it's always the same thing, right? It's like coaches are different, coordinators are different. There's different ways to win a Super Bowl. There's different ways to run a marathon, right? To your point, like, that thought process of the Maffetone method, or even taking 80% of your runs easy, 20% more aggressive. Some people don't follow that actually, and they're faster. Some people run hard every day and their body's so used to that much intensity that they've calloused that muscle in their mind as well. They've calloused those muscles in their body. So they
said, fuck it, let's see what's true.
100%. So like even like a Ken Rideout, right? Ken does 10 miles every single day and with one long run. That's his program. He says it every day. You can look at his Strava. He runs at like a 6:15, 6:30 pace every day, and he goes out for one long run once a week.
Guy lost his mind somewhere along the
way. How long has he been like at? Is he like has he been doing this for a long time?
Ken is 55. He's actually the record holder for the fastest marathoner 50 and above. It's at Boston. He had a sub 2:30. Bro, he's running like 5:45 pace. He's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
This guy lying about his age? What's going on?
No,
that's wild.
It's like, show me the birth certificate.
I say that to
Hey guys, if you like this clip, go ahead and comment down below and let us know what you liked about it. All right, share this with a friend. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and also we are on Reddit and Discord. All that's down below. All our sponsors and everyone that supports us down below there too, so you can get whatever you like from us. All right, peace.